Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew. Now, normally I have more information in the title. Today I am waiting on Sci-Fi Nation to come on. He is supposed to be streaming later this morning, and until then, I decided to come on and wait for either him to come on here or to get a message from him on Twitter letting me know when he's going to come on. But until that time, good morning and welcome to Morning Brew. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone's having a good day. Uh, let's see here. It is Thursday morning, September 9th. I do have a theme for the show in a couple of days. So, yeah, be ready for that. That is not going to be the typical morning brew, but being as it is the 20th anniversary uh, in a couple of days, I figure it's worth the tribute time. And so hopefully everyone's doing good. Love to hear from anyone. Feel free to hop in the chat, of course. Speak up because I always love hearing from everybody. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link in just in case anyone is interested in coming in right now, just for fun. Then I'm going to have to, of course, switch back over to YouTube where I can actually pin the comment. And so hopefully you're doing well this morning. Um, so far, my morning has been a little less than stellar, but things will get better, I'm sure. Um, Again, I'm waiting for Sci-Fi Nation to come on. I don't know when that'll be. Um, one thing, because I'd asked him about uh, going on Thursdays, uh, just for something a little different. Um, and so, I don't know when he plans on going on. So I didn't want to just leave nothing. So I decided to go ahead and try coming on and at least, you know, filling the spot since I'm usually on every morning anyhow. Um, just to see how everyone's doing. So let's see here. Go ahead and get out a message to somebody. And I was thinking about trying I was showing up everything. There we go. Uh, oh, great. Great. Thank you so much. At least, yeah, I like the fact I'll have to talk to him later about that. Yeah, let's see here. Whatever. So anyhow, what's going on this morning? Kind of a slow, quiet morning. And good morning. Whoa. And all of a sudden, JP's is in the chat. What? Don't know. Carlos is first. Cool. Carlos can be first. Let's say first. MJ Garrick says morning. Oh, I just came here. You making a well? Oh, yeah. That was a message I got from Bird of Prey, letting me know something that I was a little surprised by. Um, I don't know. Anyhow, not important enough to go into. So what's up, Kronos? And good morning, Dave G Sound. Ah, and what are you going to be cooking today? Hopefully, it's something good, something tasty, and I don't know. So, what's going on, JP's? How's your wife doing? Uh, no, no. That's Bird of Prey 5, JP's. He's not a Kurogan. He's not cooking orphans. He's actually cooking. Uh, oh, chili. Yum. And yes, that's Bird's job. Well, at least to be ordering the fake, cooking orphans. Uh, and JP says she's sleeping or beyond right now. Well, I'm glad that you don't want to disturb her to come on. That's a good thing. Uh, and Carol says he's not a turd either. No. Nobody thinks that. Um, and technically, um, shouldn't the nation change its name to Saltistan since he's a salty trucker? Saltistan. Uh, and Davey says, "Well, it's like I'm on anyway. I rarely say much." Well, it's not true. Carlos says they're rather stingy. True. Colonel says too much salt. There goes my heart. Well, see, you prove what your naysayers have been saying wrong, Kronos. People say you're a heartless bastard. Uh, Self-esteem, we give it too much credit. That's true. That's true. How about shitty salt? Uh, Curtis says, screw my liver, however. Well, that's not nice to your liver. Um, JP says, wait, I was the heartless one. No, sorry. I know better. MJ Garrett says, yesterday was such a beautiful and interesting day. Uh, Thanks to all that made it the 10-hour stream such fun. I'm assuming you mean salties. Um, you are so strange. Give your give your liver some rest once in a while, there, Kronos. Once in a while. Uh, oh well. Uh, I got pizza uh, yesterday from a real local mom and pop gourmet pizza. Been going there for years. They changed prices. Uh, no longer $15 small uh, five topping. It's now $11 cheese and 125 per topping. Ah, well, I kind of understand that though. Okay, now a $7 milkshake. No, no. The pizza prices I can understand. They went up on their shakes too much. That should have been more like a $5 thing, not a, you know, they were $3. They should have gone up to five, not seven. Uh, and I agree, Kronos. I agree. 5 million for a shake. I don't think so. I I don't know. I don't remember Pulp Fiction. I think I've seen once. Sorry. Normally, I have somebody up here by now, but Bard's probably asleep. Um, I don't know what's going on until that time. I'm gonna wait until either Sci-Fi Nation decides to start streaming, or at least writes me and lets me know he's going to start streaming. And Dave says, yeah, they had a built-in clientele, but damn. Yeah, see, that's the problem. I don't have as much issue with the pizza thing as the shake. Because I'm sorry, going from $3 to $7, that's more than doubling the price. you don't do that without, you know, first of all, you don't do that overnight. That's a dumb idea. You know, obviously things are going up in price because availability is becoming less and less because certain stupid states decide to stay closed down, even though that the economy is going to fucking shit. Damn it. Yeah, I was ranting. I didn't realize I'd moved my computer a little bit and I had my thing muted. Great. And I don't know if Bird's sleepy again, but he's probably asleep. And good morning, Eastwood Burkholder. And hey, Rabbit Hole Flicker, what's going on? Uh, okay, wife sandwich went from $7.99 to $11.99. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a jump, but it's not unreasonable. Fries went from $3.99 to $5.99. Again, that's a jump, but I can understand that. The shake, however, yeah, that they made too much of a jump. Way too much. I mean, again, I understand the prices going up. You know, that's life, unfortunately. But you know, going up from $3 to $7 overnight is a bit off-putting. Well, more than a bit. And of course, I'm getting my coffee, see what's going on. And Kronos, yes, you can make some wife jokes. I can't. No portion change. Uh, the things, the way things are with fuel goes up and down. Uh, will prices go back and forth forever? No, no, nor should they. And actually, okay, I have no idea how long I was muted that time. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'll be going on and talking about stuff. And Curtis is gay, dead air. Uh, I don't know where I was at. Um, yes, I'm back now. Oh well. Never ending story. Interesting movie. Thank you for bringing it up, Kronos. Yes. You see, if they'd been smart about it, it would have gone with the shake prices from $3 to $5.99. Now it would have been doubling the price, but yeah, psychologically, uh, most people see five and think $5, not $5.99. Okay, JP says I can get a shake for $20. Now, see, my pricing would have been 100% increase, or well, almost. Uh, their pricing is more like 125% increase. Um, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Good morning, Darth Astor. Uh, uh, well, you know what, Dave? You ought to let him know. You ought to let him know because this type of price increase is going to drive people away. And most people aren't going to say why. They're just going to stop going. And quite honestly, it could drive them out of business. So you might want to tell them something. Uh, you did let him know. You did let them know. That's good. Just out of curiosity, what did they say? And Darth Astor says that is a ripoff. Better be hand scraped ice cream you can take home and be a damn bowl for that price. Uh, Curtis says, I have the volume turned up and need to go on full alert mode. JP says it's well worth the $20 for the shake. It was last night, no reply yet. Well, hopefully you hear something soon. And Mara says, sorry, cab delivery seems to be late today. Well, In that case, you can hop on, and then you can leave when your delivery's there. Ah, and JP's is going to the fridge. JP says, Carlos, get your own damn mic. Well, see, since Carlos is going to be busy, I can understand today at least, even though he should have a mic, but whatever. And Dave says, sad thing is now I'm waiting for all my other favorites to follow suit. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to be the way it is. And yeah, prices are going to go up. Yeah, well, in fact, prices are going to go up on a lot of things. On a lot of things. And yes, you know, I don't know. This is one time I wish that Ian B was on because then I could ask him something or Bird. Uh, ah, let's see here. Bruno says I need coffee. Tentacles have their own mind. Okay. Uh, Bruno says I'm not getting anything accomplished. 3 for $4 on 2-liter sodas. That is a good deal. That is a good deal anymore. I used to go to Dollar General. They would have 3 for $3, and it went to 2 for $3 or 3 for $4, which I didn't mind. I can understand price increases. That's understandable, but price jumps are another thing. In fact, it's more than a little ridiculous. Some of the prices are just too high. But that's the way it is, unfortunately. And until until the powers that be decide that normality is more important than whatever shit they're trying to pull, we're stuck with the way things are. And thankfully, I have Mar joining me. And I'm still waiting to hear from Sci-Fi Nation.
Wait, did you just say instead of Bree you have me joining you? Why would Brie Larson join you?
No, I didn't say instead of Bree. I wouldn't want her.
Who would?
I said instead of just me. Nobody would want Brie. Sorry. Brie cheese, one thing. Let's see here. Of course, get another pop up. Let me know somebody's going live or upload a video or whatever.
And we are waiting for Sci-Fi Nation to go live?
Yes, because I told him I was going to.
And stream it with us.
I even made him a thumbnail for Thursdays, and so he was like, last Thursday, he was like, "Well, I was going to go live, but you're going live." And it's like, yeah, because I normally go live at 6 a.m. I'm not going to not go live and then have him wait till 8 a.m. to start and have nothing on.
I remember.
So as soon as he goes live, that'd be fine. But till then, no.
But I thought it was about a show you was doing and he was doing and not about a time.
Well, I mean, if he's going on at 8 o'clock, that's 2 hours after I go live normally. So there's plenty of time in 2 hours to do something. And then he can go live whenever he wants. And I can join him if he wants. But just sit here, do nothing, and wait for Sci-Fi Nation to go live is boring as hell. Because you should have set something up already. And let's see here. Let's go back to the chat. What are you eating, by the way, Mar?
Burger.
Ooh.
My dad wanted to have burgers, so we ordered burgers.
Ooh. Because I told JP's because I told him he could have Thursday morning, and he was fine with that. But yeah, I don't know when the hell he's going to start. So
If he still can remember it.
this is true. I don't know. What are you listening to in the background?
Black Lagoon. Sorry.
And Curtis says burgers are good. Chili is better. I can get off my fat ass if I can get off my fat ass and make it. Well, go make it.
Why don't you just order chili burgers? Nope, the Black Lagoon Company, which was an animation or an anime back in the day. It's a little bit older already. And I thought I'll just rewatch it before someone, some American company decides to try to sell a live remake to Netflix.
Okay. Chrono says I can make chili better and burgers better. I still have a fat ass. Well, I don't know about that. Oh, I meant flat. I don't. I sorry, Kronos. Shape of your ass is not a topic of normal conversation, nor do I want it to be. Um,
Yeah, Kronos and I, we both look like gazelles. Or what are those grey animals with the long nose called like?
I I've had one cup of coffee. You want me to think? Forget that. Um, and Kronos says, "Don't check me out. That's creepy." Well, you're the one who brought it up, you dumbass. I mean, hello. You mentioned your fat ass, and then you meant your flat ass. I don't know. Don't care. Never thought about it. Never wanted to think about it.
Yeah, who wants that? Who needs that?
And Kronos says, I was just insulted. Not really. And what about an aardvark, Darth Aster? That one came out of left field from what I saw. JP says, going to make some chili with ground beef, but I uh, may use chopped steak instead. Ooh, yes, absolutely. Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice.
Hmm.
And
And you better do not get anything serious while I am around. Because
and
that's the only times I can quote Star Trek.
let's see here. Rip chili. It was a good idea on paper. No, go make your damn chili, Kronos. Kronos says OG chili is beef and chili peppers. And definitely can hear that paper being crumpled.
Sorry.
No problem. Just letting you know. And Dave G says that steak is so much better than ground. Well, yeah, because it's a different kind of beef. Uh, hello. And yeah, you're right. It is better.
Hmm.
So when are
Yeah,
you going to make the chili? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mar.
for ground meat, you usually do not use the best meat of the animal.
Nope. That's why I said it was a better cut. Ah,
And
Dave.
if you use half and half ground meat, you have for the Turkish people and the Indish people something in it. Or the Muslim and the Indish.
Let's see here now. It's a steak. DS9 quote. Uh, okay. I'll take your word for it, Kronos. Ah, Dave G says, but different kinds of chili too. Some ground, some chopped. Then your different blends, uh, different beans, sauces, etc. Yeah. Now I like. Now, see, this is what you want to do if you want to have. If you want to be mean, you have black beans in the chili. Now, the way you want to do it is you want to soak them overnight, preferably. And I'm talking dry beans, not shit in the can. Um, and but the black beans, of course, you know drain the water off and do what you normally would do. The black beans, however, are usually more cause more flatulence. I'll just say it that way. So if you want to have fun with your friends and uh, yeah, cause them to fart more, send them away sooner, then yeah, use black beans.
Yeah, I usually use canned beans, but canned beans in chili sauce. So they already have taken in the chili taste.
Right.
And then I add some black beans as well. My chili mix, meat, onions.
Let's see here. Black beans and dark kidney beans. Oh yes, exactly. Uh, the dark kidney beans, those are great. Uh, yeah, so do the dark kidney beans. Uh,
Well,
Bruno says I
I,
still have to learn to cook dried beans. Honestly, the easiest way to do that is to put them in a pot, uh, fill it with water, and literally let it sit on the stove overnight. Now, keep in mind, the beans are going to go poof because of the water. So don't add too many beans to it. Um, so yeah,
And normally, I would cook up the water with the beans and then let them sit. But I think that's just me being a little bit careful with everything water related.
the shit computer. I hate computers sometimes. Uh, let's see here. JP says my chili is onion, kidney beans, pork and beans. Oh no! Get rid of those pork and beans. Yuck. Chickpeas, ground beef, uh, red, green, and orange bell peppers. Yeah, skip the green. Um, uh, uh, tomato paste. Yeah, stewed and diced tomatoes, garlic, honey, ketchup, chili powder, salt, and pepper. Most of it sounds good. Most of it sounds good. Uh,
Jalapenos, no. I would use dried Turkish chili peppers. The good black ones.
okay. Need my wife to explain her chili recipe at some point. So many kinds of beans, peppers, spices, etc. that I have no idea, and every time seems better than the last somehow. Not too spicy, but perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, have her on here sometime.
Then again, I've heard that originally there was no meat in the original chili. It was just beans and peppers.
Correct. And JP says sometimes I add brown sugar if I add too much chili powder. Absolutely. Cilantro is good. I'm not a huge fan of cilantro, but if you like it, go for it. Yeah, that's why, uh, JP's, that's why you go easy on the spices. You add them a little at a time. Well, you're the one who said you'd be doing it on Thursday, Sci-Fi. So I'll change the name of the stream then. That's cool. Since we're not, since we're no longer waiting for you. Let's go to that. I'll take care of that in a minute. I really need to. And Kronos says he likes spicy. Yeah, I don't. I don't. I mean, slightly, but I prefer mild. I like being able to add stuff to it, not to the point where. In fact, I had one time where someone made chili. Yeah, well, I ended up having they made a pot of chili. They're being nice. I ended up having to add a bottle of ketchup, to
Mhm.
make this shit palatable.
Good morning.
Good morning, and what's going on, Darren?
What did I read there? That Sci-Fi Nation can't participate in streams during the school year in the morning?
Yep. Well, at least
Hallelujah. I'm just kidding. No, that was mean. It must be that his kid needs to use a computer, huh?
either that or the kid is going to need more attention. Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. But how are you feeling this morning, Captain?
I'm feeling okay, actually. A little higher pain level than normal, but manageable.
Okay, that's good. Alrighty.
And what's going on with you?
Just waiting. I got all this stuff I'm going to be taking my computer apart and putting it back together again today with my brother's help. I'm just waiting for him to get here. So
Ah,
he probably won't get here until like, at least a few more hours, but there's that. Okay, so Sci-Fi Nation gets his kid off to school, as his wife is incapable. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that makes sense.
yep. Let's see here now. Let's go back to live. And edit. And get rid of the last part because don't need that. And add that in there because I did have the intro.
Morning Brew, Thursday, 9/9/21 at 6 a.m. Not waiting for Sci-Fi Nation.
No, 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 no. I'm not that mean. Yeah, I'm not that nice either. But
Not waiting for the moron who forgot he can't stream during the school year.
well, you can't blame him completely. I even went with a different morning brew thing to signify things are a little different. Still need to work on it, but that's life. So see here. Now I've got that taken care of. I can go back to the chat. And let's see here. Take care, Sci-Fi Nation. Have a good day. Good morning, brightest day. How are you today? And good morning, Dave G Sounds. You know what? I don't know why you're not a mod here, but why not? So, and JP says, I can hear vehicles driving by. Yep.
Yeah, we are lucky. We are lucky that Darren isn't living in the USA. Otherwise, there would be a lot more drive-by shootings.
Shit. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Crow says, mods are mostly evil. Darren can save us? Of course he can.
Huh? What now?
And now...
My window's open this morning. That is true, JP. Sorry.
And now, the jerk.
The jerk.
Oh, no.
Hello, world. It's Berto Bry 5. Kapla. I only have a few minutes, Cap. I figured I'd drop in and say hello. Hello, Darren.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's not
hello,
the jerk.
Mar.
It's the bird. No.
Hey, bird.
Well, see,
I didn't think you were even streaming today because you said I'm not streaming on Thursdays.
Well, I am streaming on Thursdays now because...
Oh, that's fine. It's absolutely okay. I just was confused. I would have looked for you sooner.
It reminds me of how Jimmy Kimmel kept saying that Matt Damon was going to be the guest on every show, and then he at the end of the show would end, and he didn't have Matt Damon on. He said, "Sorry, Matt Damon, maybe next week." You know, Captain Trek kind of reminds me of that. He's like, "Well, I'm not going to be."
I know I should realize it by now that I just should check every morning, regardless of what I hear from Captain. But
I think the joke's on us.
I was going between the different panels of last night, Star Trek Day, and I saw you were streaming. I was like, oh, I'm going to come on and say hello.
Star Trek Day.
Oh my God, did you see that they're recasting Uhura?
Oh, Lord.
For what?
On Strange New World, she's going to be, Uhura is going to be on Strange New Worlds.
Huh.
And so's Nurse Chapel. Yeah, the Strange New Worlds panel showed off the main cast of Strange New Worlds. Besides Spock and Number One and Pike, they're bringing in Cadet Uhura,
that's terrible.
Nurse Chapel, and then somebody related to Noonien Singh Khan, his like great granddaughter.
What?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That actually could be interesting, though, to have a descendant of an augment, because obviously the enhancements would have diluted over the generations of intermingling with normal humans. So that is actually not a bad concept.
Very, coincidental that Khan himself comes to commandeer the very ship that his own descendant worked on. And he doesn't bring this up to Kirk at any point in Space Seed after he clearly read through the ship's history and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think he would have checked, what have my children accomplished in the centuries I've been gone? And
don't tell us how much more complex number one is. Just show us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, using Khan's descendants? Oh my fucking god. This show sounds worse and worse the more they say. I mean, when they first started it, first of all, I was already going, okay, this is bad. Because they didn't know they had a series called Enterprise.
what we can officially take away, though, from yesterday, from everything I watched, which, by the way, there is a Picard season 2 trailer, a legit trailer that's worth watching.
Man,
is that Section 31 show officially dead?
Oh, thank God.
Because they said there's 5 shows and they're not rushing anymore. The next one they're going to do at some point, they're in no rush, is Starfleet Academy. But they didn't even bring up the Section 31.
I mean, I know that's going to make Daniel upset, but thank God that's dead.
The actress they got for young Uhura doesn't look anything like Nichelle Nichols at all, and they've got her hair buzzed down too, like a crew cut. Yeah, Uhura always did lots of interesting things with her hair, and it's just sorry.
So they cut down Section 31 for Star Trek babies.
Star Trek babies.
Then there was a Prodigy actual trailer, and man, the animation on that looked horrible. In fact, everything on that looks horrible. I honestly not sure I'm going to be able to watch that show. I know I said I would, but I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I like that Bert said they do not want to rush anymore series, because so far what we got in the new series was really looking a little bit rushed.
I broke out laughing when there's a part where Will Wheaton is talking directly with Alex Kurtzman. And they're discussing about how he's juggling 5 Trek series. And I think it's Will Wheaton who says it. He's like, I imagine this is all like one giant crystalline entity you're holding together. And Alex Kurtzman's like, yeah, it is. He's like, it's like a big crystal entity. All the different theories fit together. And I'm thinking, a crystalline entity that's just killing people, cut the TNG.
That's not even a very good analogy.
It's not a good analogy, except the hilarious is that basically like saying you're one mass murderer that's balancing all the Star Treks. And I don't think either of them realized what they said.
I'm sorry, that's just fucking hilarious. I mean, I think you're right. Will Wheaton has no clue what he said.
No.
But
I'm sure
oh my God.
the Chicken Nerd or Major Grin or somebody else put that together, and then we'll get a cutscene to the crystalline entity, working with Lore to kill everybody.
Yeah, probably Wheaton knew exactly what he said, but Kurtzman didn't understand it because he never watched it.
Well, Wheaton is too much of a shill to
Yeah, he was offering himself as a consultant. So, like, if you ever need consulting on what it's like to be a kid on a starship.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, it would be not only would he being a shill, it's like, here, pay me more. And I figure, why not? This case, I'll side with Bill Wheaton. Can't stand this character in Next Generation, but I'll support him getting extra money. Why not?
I think they already said that there will be a Picard season 3.
Yeah, that too. Picard season 2. So basically, they've got to go back in time because something, and this is how he says it, something in history changes Earth to a totalitarian regime. And it makes it look like almost the mirror universe, but it's not the mirror universe. And so they've got to go back to the 21st century to fix whatever happened in the 21st century that set Earth down a path of totalitarianism.
Wow.
So I suspect they're literally coming back in time to rig an election or unrig an election. That's probably what they're going to do.
It's just designed to tick off the masses.
I got to go back to 2021.
That, of course, and it's less expensive to film in 2021 than it is to film, in their native time frame.
Yeah, or they go back, because if they come back to now, there'd have to be masks everywhere.
And what they'll do is they'll complain when people complain about it, saying, "Well, you like the Star Trek 4 when they came back to 1987," and and it's like, yeah, but that political agenda was not overt. You had one or two lines about man hunting whales to extinction, and that was it. They didn't beat you over the head with it. And the rest of it was just pure fun. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to use that. Well, you liked it when they did it, and they won't address the fact that you're doing it differently than the way they did it.
There's a scene where 7 of 9 and Rafi are in a Ford Explorer, and 7 can't drive, and Rafi's like, "You mean you can fly a starship, but you can't drive a car?" Yeah. I'm like, well, why would you be able to do the same things? Of course, once Rafi said that, 7 just puts it in gear and it takes off flying because.
Right. I don't know. Well, I mean, Kirk had trouble driving a car when they went.
So did.
Yeah. I mean, Trip didn't even know how to ride a horse.
I was going to say, in Enterprise, even when Archer went back in time with T'Pol in Chicago or wherever it was, Detroit. Yeah. He wasn't so hot on cars.
No.
But then, of course, we saw Kirk in the JJ universe, and he could drive a car at 5 years old. So.
Right. And a motorcycle and all kinds of things. Yeah. And when they went to the Western planet in Lone Star, North Star, whatever it was called, Archer, I think, was the only crewman who could ride a horse. No, hold on a second. Yeah, Trip could get on a horse, but he couldn't. He didn't know how to make the horse go. That was one of the funnier little moments. He just kind of looked at the horse like, "What are you waiting for?"
Oh, it's the way it is. Not everybody can ride a horse, and not everybody can drive a car or ride a bike or whatever.
Yeah, Voyager crew went to the late 90s in a 2-parter, as I recall. I can't remember. I think Tom Paris knew how to drive.
Well, Tom Paris was all things.
Yeah.
There's also where they found a pickup truck in space. And
right.
he in fact, it was a 37s
Right.
episode, and he could drive that.
Yeah, but he also liked the old history stuff, so that
Right,
was
it made
kind
some
of
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
It
think
made
that
sense there.
they were also relying on Sarah Silverman for transportation in that episode, I think, as well.
Well, they were using her car, but yeah, Tom was driving her van.
Yeah.
I mean, with Tom, I mean, he really was in this old stuff. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had all those black and white episodes with him in the.
Was there more than
Captain
one?
Proton.
Yep,
Yeah.
as Captain Proton, and yeah, there was more than one episode with that.
Okay. So I remember Bride of Chaotica, but I don't remember anything else.
No, there were a few. I mean, they didn't take up the entire episode, but they returned to Captain Proton at least 3 or 4 times.
You would think that they would make it colorized while they put it.
No. No.
Yeah,
no. Colorized.
Well, as I said, I have had the same discussion with my nephew. My dad was watching Laurel and Hardy in black and white, and my nephew came shocked to me and said, "I didn't know Grandma and Grandpa couldn't see in color." Because he thought back then everyone was just as they was born, they was just seeing black and white. And that we would be kind of the first generation who saw colorized. So I tried to explain him that the technique wasn't that good back then, and that's why it wasn't colorized. It had nothing to do with our eyes.
And I absolutely hate colorized movies. At first I thought, oh, cool, this looks...
Yeah.
No.
Turner Broadcasting pioneered that. I think their original attempts were pretty bad. They slapped all these phony colors onto it, but I think it's gotten better over the years.
I'm going to get going and do my reviews and stuff.
Okay.
I will talk to you guys later.
I didn't expect to see you at all, Bert.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Oh,
Today
I didn't expect
today
to
is,
see you, but that's fine. I'm happy you're up. Happy it's stream's going well. Kapsla all.
right. Today's Lower Decks. See you later, Bird. Which means I have to look for it for later on.
And let's see here.
For
Good morning, Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers. Good afternoon, Yitza. How are you today?
Star Trek Lower Decks. There we go.
And Professor says Star Trek. Yes, we have been talking Star Trek today.
Yeah, apparently Nurse Chapel's going to have a foreign accent now.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Who is Dr. Hold on.
Well, we kind of always get back to the same topics here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, part of it is with some of the people having watched the shit that they have hauled out for what's to come on Star Trek. Oh, God.
Well,
Dr. Mabenga is on the Strange New Worlds, and what's interesting is he was the second fiddle to McCoy when McCoy, during the McCoy years. So that's interesting. He must get demoted then in order to accommodate McCoy.
Yeah. McCoy is the one that I quote the most.
Yeah.
And there was one time there was a guy choking next to me, and his girlfriend was screaming, "Oh, someone help him, someone help him." And then he fell to the ground, stopped breathing, and I said, "He's dead, Jim."
Oh,
and
dear.
as the first responders 20 minutes later came in and checked on him, they confirmed that he was dead.
Oh, man.
So I wasn't wrong.
Huh.
Totally felt badass knowing what was happening there.
They don't teach that Heimlich maneuver in Germany, huh?
Probably they do.
Or do you have anti-Samaritan laws?
I never learned it.
Yeah.
And good morning, Professor. Kronos, are you not making your chili yet? Get off your ass and do it. Chili, now.
Oh, that would be bad. Yitza.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't count. He had a thing with numbers. A bad thing with numbers. He started with like 1, 2, 3. Okay, the rest of you count yourself to the end.
Yeah, the actress they got for young Uhura just doesn't have. Uhura, Nichelle Nichols had this cat-like look to her. Like an Eartha Kitt kind of vibe as Catwoman, right? And this young lady doesn't have that. Not a bad-looking girl, but I mean, just doesn't seem to have that sultriness.
Look, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if, let's put it this way, even though that dance in Star Trek V, if she had done it 20 years earlier.
Oh yeah, it would have been something to look at. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been good. But when it was done, no.
Yeah. She's in her mid-50s trying to do that shit.
Yeah. A 30-year-old doing it. Oh yeah, she would have been. It would have been hot.
Yeah, and the actor they got to play Mabenga doesn't even look like the actor who played Mabenga before. I mean, other than just the race match.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if they might as well make him Asian then if they're going to do that stupid thing. So that gives no.
I'm willing to bet they're probably going to go back in time to try to get everybody vaccinated.
This is one time. Well, this is more than one. This is yet another time I wish that Mr. Lundell would still come on here.
Well, he wouldn't have very many good things to say about their Uhura selection, or a selection of Uhura here. I mean, even just having her on the show is a mistake. If you look at the Cage and Menagerie, you can tell who was supposed to be on the ship and who wasn't. I mean, we're clearly dealing with an alternate take, an alternate reality.
Well, Eastland, there is a lot of ladies who aged well.
Oh yeah.
I could come up with Bailing out of my shoulders, or what's her face? Kidding me?
Well, one thing that I noticed was that most of the Bond women, especially the ones from the 60s, aged tremendously well. I mean, Honor Blackman still looked very attractive when she was in her 70s, and she didn't. You could tell she didn't have any sort of plastic surgery or anything. It was just she probably just took care of herself. Ursula Andress was another one. Jane Seymour,
or for Nella Muti, she looked horrific as she was in her 40s, but then she gained it again, and nowadays she is pretty hot again.
Yeah. Now, Terry Hatcher, of course, was not a classic Bond girl. She was just a Bond girl in one movie, and she was already an established actress at that point. So she's had a lot of surgeries on her face and things like that. So, I don't necessarily count her as a classic Bond girl, but, the one that impressed me was Honor Blackman. I thought she was really well preserved.
Yeah, okay, Grace Jones, not sure. Haven't seen her for a while.
I wouldn't call her a Bond girl. I would call her a henchman. Who happened? That's like calling Bambi and Thumper Bond girls. I don't think they were. They weren't there for. They were there for muscle.
I'm sorry. Bond girls tend to be, the women that Bond beds.
Yeah, or at the very least, flirts with successfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An example, for example, of a Bond girl that had about as little screen time as possible, but was so memorable, was the girl that died from being painted in gold. I can't remember her name now.
The Random Menace. You always was as beautiful as a Bond girl. You do not need any surgery for that.
Jill Masterson from Goldfinger. That's what it was. And that I've often wondered about that method of execution, if it would have worked or not. Died of skin suffocation. And
yeah, there was those rumors.
Yeah, it. Shirley Eaton, that's who that actress's name was.
I'm really bad with names of the actors, actresses, unless there's something. And I don't think you would qualify as a Bond girl, the Random Menace. And what surgery have you had on your face anyhow?
Joseph, I've had surgery on my face too, and I'm not a Bond girl, so not a big deal. In fact, I was saying that most of the classic Bond girls didn't resort to plastic surgery because plastic surgery back in the 50s and 60s just wasn't what it is today. You start getting into the 80s, you start getting into plastic surgery attempts, and Terry Hatcher's face has all the telltale signs that they whittled on her nose and did a bunch of other stuff. And
Well, and then of course we have Madonna. Lots of plastic surgery. Never was a Bond girl.
Right.
I'm sorry. I've seen some women. It's like they were okay after surgery, but some it just like they looked much better before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one girl that wanted to look like her sister. Oh wait, no, that was Michael Jackson who wanted to look like his sister.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
The problem with plastic surgery, of course, especially if you're trying to make yourself look like somebody you're not, or to redesign your nose, for example, is as you age, your body replaces those cells, and your body tries to return you to look like normal. So you're basically fighting the cosmetic surgery design, and that's one of the reasons why. I'm not going to go there. That would get too political. That's one of the reasons why, as people age, plastic surgery, particularly stuff that was performed in the 80s and 90s, looks terrible.
Yeah.
It ages at a different progression rate and such. But I was also going to say something about gender reassignment surgery as well. Your body knows what gender it's supposed to be and will try to undo that as you get older if you make those modifications.
Yeah, one good example for bad surgery would be Mickey Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
He looked so good as he was young,
no.
And now he looks like something out of a Frankenstein movie.
Well, Mickey Rourke was, a lot of people don't know this, but he dropped out of acting for about 5 or 6 years to become a professional boxer, and he banged up his face really bad. And so when he went back into acting, that's why he got the surgery. But he went farther than he needed to. Obviously, he had the eye lift and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, his boxing career was less than stellar, and he got banged up pretty bad. But yeah.
I've had eyelid correction surgery. Excess skin was removed. See, I need to have some done over my eyes, but that would be elective surgery, and there's no way I could get that done.
Yeah. It's funny because I was watching a Rocky movie not too long ago, and I forgot that Stallone, of course, when he plays Rocky, he has this special makeup around his eyes to make it look like he's had a lot of black eyes that have stretched out the skin around his eyes. And there was a skit he did where Sylvester Stallone as himself meets Rocky Balboa, and of course it's split screen. And they show him talking to himself essentially, and that's when it's really noticeable, And I had forgotten all about that.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, let's see if I can find that somewhere on YouTube here.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's question:
Yeah.
How would you know? LASIK. I don't consider that plastic surgery.
Well, what kind of size reduction?
Well, we've seen he's skinny as hell, so it's not like it wouldn't be like it'd be fat.
So you mean the penis size?
He's over 2 meters. Do the math. Ah, gets it drew me like one of his Belgian girls. Oh my god. Ah, okay. Let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and
I could use a size reduction as well. I need to lose 40 kilograms.
What's that in freedom units?
In what?
Freedom units.
What do I know?
American.
Kilograms to pounds. Okay, you said 40 kilograms?
Yep.
All right, so that would be 66 pounds. Oops, excuse me, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. 88 pounds.
And good morning, NB.
Morning, Cap. Darian, Mar.
My name's Darren, not Darian.
Huh?
You're adding an extra syllable in my name. You're calling me Darian, and my name's Darren.
Sorry, I do that to my own daughter.
That's okay.
Now, my daughter's name, well, I sometimes do that with people's names, but
That's
sorry
fine.
about that, Darren.
So, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, man. I got up this morning, and I saw the Star Trek Picard Season 2 trailer, and I was like, I'm going to see if I can actually do a review of this thing and actually see if YouTube will let me actually put it up. And my first attempt, I was good all the way up until the very end of it. I let the damn trailer play just too damn long, that last segment, before I pulled it down. So I was like, okay, let me try this again. So went back through, did it again, made it through, got it approved. So I've got this to say about Star Trek now. What is with these fuckers not paying their damn electric bill?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
What is with them not paying? Everything is so goddamn dark.
Oh, humor. Okay. I understand. Yes. Yeah, they have no clue. I say we just. How do I say this? I say we just abandon Trek, let them have the name until they destroy it.
All right. This, for everyone here, including the chat, just answer me this one question. Which do you think would be the better way to go about time travel based on these two options here? Go slingshot around the sun or work with the Borg Queen?
Well, the slingshot would seem to be the best choice because you don't have to deal with the Borg at all.
Yeah, I'd go with the slingshot, or go see the Guardian.
Well, I don't like the way they generally handled the Guardian of Forever in Secret Hideout Productions. I mean, yeah. But, the Guardian, though, you know, if you go through time using the Guardian, you're basically going, you know, with your body and whatever you can possibly carry through the portal. But with a slingshot effect, you get to like bring your ship back.
Yeah.
With all of its amenities and things like that. And so you know, I mean, yeah. One of the I've read some conjectural material, you know, regarding ideas about why, you know, we didn't see Starfleet going through time more often, things like that. And one of the one of the funny theories was the idea that all Starfleet ships have this protocol in there written in their computers that prevents them from performing the slingshot maneuver around a star. And I'm like, okay.
I'm pretty sure that can be overridden.
Right. Well. Here's a great example for you too. How about the Dyson sphere? I mean, it's got a star inside it, but itself, it's not a star. So you could do a slingshot around that. I mean, there's all kinds of ways around that. Plus, it doesn't prevent other races like the Romulans from doing it. I mean, I'm convinced the Romulans don't have time travel theories or anything, because if they did, they'd already be owning the place. There's no way they wouldn't use that to their advantage retroactively.
The trailer seems to want to try and focus on Picard, Rafi, and Seven, I guess, was the main thing.
Right. Yeah.
And they actually, I thought it was interesting. The whole girl, the android girl. Look, I'll be honest. I even said it. It's like I don't even remember half these people's names in this show. That's how fucking that's how forgettable it is. But you have. So what happens is, I guess Q comes in, and of course, oh my God, Picard's like, I'm too old for this shit. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It was like right then, Q snaps his fingers. I was like, oh, thank God. If I'd been Q, I'd have done the same thing. It's like, shut up. And all of a sudden, they're back in the basically, they're taking the idea of a totalitarian federation. So I'm like, okay, so basically we're doing the Terran Empire style thing again. It's like, all right. And there's a part in there where I was wondering, it's like, okay, if Picard is going to meet up with the Borg Queen to do time travel, is this the Borg Queen from his timeline or the Borg Queen from the alternate timeline? Because if it's the alternate timeline, how's she going to interact with Picard? She has no fucking clue, but they'll probably just say she does for reasons, for storytelling purposes. I know, I shouldn't overthink this shit. God forbid, Star Trek used to make you think.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, it's.
And just for the reference, it's exactly what I said before.
Yeah.
We started talking about woman in her older years, which still look beautiful. Then we get to surgery and everything like that. And now we are back on Star Trek.
Yep. So what did you think?
Completely off of it. I was just giving you guys a little synopsis. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. No, yes, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm thinking third dimensionally. I know. I can't help it. Oh, and of course, plenty of explosions and violence. Just what we all hope, what we all love in Star Trek.
So I'm looking at the trailer for Picard 2, and I'm seeing that they're still retaining the crazy doctor who killed what's-his-face.
Maddox. Yes,
yeah.
I was like, why is she even here? It's like like I said, it's just...
And you've got actors playing different parts. Yeah. Yeah, that's shit. And why does it say Amazon Prime? Is it not on Paramount anymore?
I would not be surprised if there's some like side bargain they made where I don't know. Maybe it'll be free on Amazon Prime. Maybe they'll be like, no, you got to pay for it. Or they might have just meant, well, Amazon Prime for anybody who's not in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit.
Well, I kind of looked at it this way. When I found out they were doing them both seasons back to back, I'm like, they're probably canceling that in Discovery after this. And they're going to come out and call it a success and say it was always meant to be 4 seasons of Discovery and 3 seasons of Picard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll declare a victory and, but never release any numbers.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to release Strange New Worlds, and I mean,
oh my God.
Can they really afford 4 different Star Trek IPs at the same time?
5.
Yeah, you've got. They should have kept it with just Spock being retained on the crew, because now we've got a bunch of characters that we know have to survive into the Kirk era. So they're not going to be able to be put in any reasonable amount of danger, right? Anybody who's going to die are going to be these characters that we don't know anything about, like the Hispanic chick, Khan's ancestor. Those are the only ones that have the chance of dying on the show. It's the Superboy syndrome again, as I've mentioned before. You can't put Superboy into any kind of reasonable danger because the learned comic book reader knows that Superboy eventually grows up to be Superman. So, he's not going to die from kryptonite exposure as it shows on the cover. So, we also know the Enterprise shouldn't be destroyed either. So that's the real problem with prequels.
Yeah.
The stakes aren't as high inherently with them, especially if you're casting familiar characters and things. It just, I mean, my personal feeling is that everything that comes from Secret Hideout is not authentic, that it's their own take on it, and it is separate from the rest of it. They declare it canon, but of course they know if they didn't declare it canon, people would dismiss it outright. They can declare it canon all they want. They certainly haven't inserted it into the continuity. We're not looking at the same narrative fantasy world that was established and maintained by the Desilu Paramount eras. So yeah, it's why I don't watch it.
Wait.
Go ahead, B&B.
Oh, I'm waiting on the media to come out and say that the reason why Shang-Chi isn't doing very well is because, they're going to blame it on white people. And I'm going to be like, then why didn't, most of the Asian countries make up a more bigger chunk of this? And I looked at China. China only took in about 18 million.
China didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
They want American films, about American characters. That's I mean, there has been all kinds of articles about how China was not pleased with how they were trying to promote Shang-Chi in their country. And, but I've heard that Shang-Chi is actually doing quite well, that it had a $70 million weekend, which was pretty good for a Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
All things considered. But, yeah, it's, he's the guy, the main guy in it's getting pretty good reviews. A lot of the people in the Phantom Menace who made false predictions are having to eat crow now, and he's making fun of them, and rightly so. But we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. My whole reason is I just my nearest theater is 30 minutes away, and for me to want to drive 30 minutes there, 30 minutes. I mean, I'm the only one who would even remotely have an interest to see it. None of my kids have mentioned it. They don't show any interest in it. They didn't show any interest in Black Widow. They haven't asked me about, getting it before October. So they're not really interested. I'm like, I'm not driving all the way up there just to watch a movie by myself like that. It's, and I'm just not going to do it to do a review. So, I mean, I'll do a review later when it comes out, and I might possibly enjoy it. I like many martial arts movies. But the kind of thing is, when you look at China, they tend to make, their own martial arts movies, and they tend to make a lot of good money over there in China when they do make them.
Yeah. The big ones they like are the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And they're not Asian-centric casts. They got a lot of rice burner cars in them. At least the first couple did. But that's about it. They like our Marvel movies too when they're not featuring, a lot of Chinese influence. I mean, Marvel when they put out Iron Man 3, they actually had an entirely different ending sequence where it demonstrated that a Chinese doctor was the one who developed the technique that pulled all the rest of the shrapnel out of Tony Stark's heart. And in the American version, it was Tony who figured out how to do that. So it's kind of an interesting change. Like they had to reference China in some way. But I think they don't like being pandered to, and I think that
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and Shang-Chi, I think was they felt whether it was Marvel made the attempt or not, they felt like they were being pandered to, and that's why they poo-pooed it and didn't allow it to get promoted very much in their country. So yeah.
And when you're a communist country in a one-party system, you can do that.
Right. I mean, in China they just banned effeminate men from their television.
Yes, I saw that.
You can no longer if you have a man on television, he has to be masculine, and there's something kind of refreshing about that. I mean, even though it is a government telling the people what they can have on television, what they can't, still that's going to have repercussions over here, because now if an American film studio wants to have the movie in China, they're going to have to make sure that it contains
men who act like men.
Yeah, manly men, not girly men. But what I predict will happen is they'll have two versions then, one for American consumption and one for Chinese consumption.
Problem is that'll start getting even more expensive.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I understand reshoots and stuff, and sometimes there's different edits for different markets, but to make two movies like that, you're going to blow your budgets, and that's not even going to guarantee that it's going to work. I mean, like you said, they want to actually watch. They don't. I have a feeling they don't want to see men portrayed as weak and butt of all jokes. Just doesn't seem like that's a market for them over there.
Nope.
I mean, it's not a market here, but we've got enough people here that make it seem like there's a market for it.
Yeah,
or maybe there is just a market for that with certain angry third wave feminists. I don't know.
Well, I've been reading that people are leaving Twitter in droves now because the cancel culture has started to cancel people that it wasn't meant to cancel. Because they will turn on each other for attention, and that's going to have an effect too, because Twitter had an unhealthy, magnified effect on things. People thought Twitter reflected the country, and no, Twitter just reflected Twitter.
Yeah.
So.
And people who think that Twitter reflects anyone, and just well.
Yeah.
Social media basically became the new form of crank calls.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, come on, you'd say. Honestly, Chinese people are not that poor that they have to stick together, so you have to sleep under 8 of them.
But yeah, now you're going to have to, if you're going to try and market something, and say not even just the movies, but think about the TV shows. If somebody has Netflix in China, and they have stuff up there, they're like, oh, nope, take this off, take all this shit off, or we'll shut you down.
Yeah. Well, the thing with China is that they are allowed to have, I think, 10 movies from the USA each year. And then, of course, they do not want to have a Haihu movie, which they usually produce themselves. So what would be the sense in getting Shang-Chi, which is a Haihu movie, while they produce better Haihu movies? Because they are used to it.
Well, I think what Cap said was best too. It's like they want to see American movies. They don't want to see a movie that's based around, maybe some of them do, but they probably look at it and probably sometimes laugh at some of the American movies that try to do the Chinese stuff, and it's like, these people are stupid. They probably come back and go, stupid Americans.
Of course they do. I mean, if they believe, which is what is being portrayed, that all Americans feel this way, it's like, of course they're going to say stupid Americans because.
What's funny to me is how Americans were extremely tolerant of other countries trying to break their, or get into their formats. For example, the spaghetti Western, Italian Westerns made in Spain. American people loved them, but
made in Spain.
That's what they are. That's what they were. That's, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sergio, I mean, that's the spaghetti Westerns were where a lot of actors went to be born and become international stars, like Clint Eastwood and others, went there to have their careers reignited. And, so Americans were like, oh, okay, so this foreign countries is trying to make their own version of an American Western. Cool, let's watch it, whereas China doesn't seem to want to see an American-made kung fu film.
No, apparently they wanted to go see Free Guy because they almost put $60 million into that movie. 58, almost 59 million. 58,838,000. So China was interested in seeing that movie.
Huh.
That was actually a good movie, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Black Widow do in China.
You never heard that term, spaghetti Western, Mar?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a term for a lot of those Italian movies that were made back in the day. I mean, a lot of Clint Eastwood movies are spaghetti Western.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Some
were
of his
made by
best
Italians, but filmed in Spain.
I was laughing because you said Italian movies filmed in Spain.
Right.
Because I think some of them was filmed in Yugoslavia.
No, some of them probably were, but it's.
I mean, we've had Winnie 2, which never made it to the USA for as far as I know, which was a European production. It was British, Italian, French, German, Yugoslavian co-production. And they also filmed in Yugoslavia. And the main lead, Winnie 2, the Native American was played by a French guy.
Right.
While we also had Lex Barker as Old Shatterhand.
And good morning, excuse me. Good morning, Michael Garrick.
So I just looked at this. Doesn't even look like Black Widow was even released in China.
And Lex Barker in Winnie 2 played a German guy.
Oh yeah,
which also was a little hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had Spanish people playing Mexicans in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and all those Sergio Leone westerns. And it's kind of funny because what I like about spaghetti westerns is they get so you'll have a cowboy riding across a plain with some mountains behind him, and it's technically the right kind of terrain because we have that kind of stuff in the United States out west, but it doesn't look like the United States. What it ends up looking like is some kind of weird, dreamy fantasy western that takes place in like an alternate reality. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had a part in the film where the Civil War was being fought in the Old West, and the Civil War really didn't extend quite that far out west, at least not with the way that the movie depicts. But foreigners wouldn't necessarily know that detail, so it's interesting. It's interesting to look at. That's why I like them.
I love my Clint Eastwood movies from that era.
Oh yeah.
Not only Clint.
Right.
Bud Spencer and Terence Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was incorrect, guys. I made a mistake on this one. It looks like when I said that 18 million, I said I was referring to what they got for Free Guy, because it looks like, I just realized that it doesn't even look like Shang-Chi's going to get released in China.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them, but Americans seem to think it's okay.
I've no interest in seeing it. So,
yeah.
I'll see. As I was young, Franco Nero was my Django. It's just bad that you can't get those movies anymore.
Yeah, Tarantino likes those movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. The Hill movies probably, but Spencer, well, I don't think they that as a couple they made it to the USA. I mean, Terence Hill was playing Lucky Luke, which I think made it to the USA, and probably the Nobody movies as well.
So Chinese audiences and government find issue with the source material for the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, it's an American movie that deals with like Chinese criminal organizations and things like that. I mean, you know, when they made Doctor Strange, one of the reasons why the Ancient One was transformed from a Tibetan monk to Tilda Swinton was because the Tibetan monks and Tibet in general are sensitive topics for the Chinese, and they were playing it safe. So, but now you have this whole movie that you know, yeah, the Chinese people understand how powerful entertainment media can be in creating opinion and fomenting opinion and things. So anything that's going to potentially cause a societal problem for them is not going to be tolerated there.
Well, Yitzi, you could count me in there, but I'm not quite sure if Bud Spencer at any point in time spoke English. Well, I know there was English movies with him, but I'm not sure because here in Germany, of course, there was dubbed and not subbed. I'm not sure if he was speaking Italian there or English.
And good morning, Ryan Johnson. How are you today?
It'd be nice to figure that one out.
Yeah, getting back to this Strange New Worlds, though. I mean, they have added so many characters that were glimpsed at or one-offs from the original series that, like I said, the almost nobody in this crew can die, and you know we know what happens to Pike. We don't know what happens to number one. She could die, right?
Yeah.
But we know that she has to survive long enough to be in the events of the Cage. And I think Strange New Worlds takes place after the events of the Cage.
I hope.
So she could die. Okay. But obviously Spock, Uhura, M'Benga, Chapel, those characters,
Yep,
they have to survive.
Tell them it's...
So, you know, it reminds me of when people are talking about, let's get a Picard, you know, on the Stargazer series. I'm like, well, that would suck because we already know what the final fate of the Stargazer is. We already know Picard has to survive into TNG. The only way you'd make that work is if you really, gave us a whole bunch of brand new characters for this crew, and then we don't, because we never knew what really would happen to them, you know. But you can't realistically put the ship in danger.
I always wanted to know, what the hell was Picard doing in between captaining the Stargazer and captaining the Enterprise D? Because there was quite a gap in between there.
That's a good question. There was another similar question as who, in the 20 some odd years between the destruction of the Enterprise C and the Enterprise D being finished, what ship was considered the flagship of the Federation? And it's a similar question, but yeah, Picard was captain of the Stargazer for 22 years. It gets lost in space. We know there was a court-martial hearing, and then he's captain of the Enterprise. It's very strange. I don't remember exactly how many years he was without a ship in that time period. Let me see if I can find out.
Music.
Whose music is that?
Not mine.
Well, there's only that leaves Mar. Let's see. Okay, so the Stargazer was lost in 2355.
Yeah, that's what I see here.
And Picard, was in command of the Enterprise in 2363. So there's a pretty big chunk of years there, about 8, where he wasn't in command of a ship. It's hard to imagine. I mean, him having a desk job, because one of the things he was talking about was never getting a desk job, but he'd have to if he didn't have any ship between 2355 and 2363.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they did give him a desk job, and that's why he desperately will not go back to one. Who knows? But I mean, it would seem to me that after 22 years of being captain of the Stargazer, he could have gotten an admiral promotion at that point too. I mean, he and Riker seem to want to, be averse to being promoted beyond a certain point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it says that. Okay, yeah, it says in 2364 he was assigned to command of the newly commissioned Galaxy class USS Enterprise. So that's actually 9 years. Sorry to interrupt you there. But, 9 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, they never discuss what the hell he was doing during those 9 years.
Right.
Maybe they did put him behind it. I would not be surprised they made him gave him some kind of ambassadorial role, or like I said, maybe they did put him behind a desk as.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've got, if you want to look at it from a military perspective, when you lose your ship, you don't normally get rewarded with another ship.
Not normally, no. But he lost it in combat. So I mean, it wasn't like he lost it because he wasn't taking care of the ship, and maintenance, was was lax or something. But in the episode Measure of a Man, Picard encounters the Judge Advocate General, who was responsible for Picard's court-martial hearing, which is standard whenever a ship is lost, or at least was at that point. And Philippa Louveau was her name. And she had previously prosecuted Picard with zeal during the court-martial following the loss of the Stargazer. So, I mean, I can't imagine the court-martial hearing taking 9 years, but there might have been a penalty or something where he was not allowed to command a ship for a while after that. Who knows? But, there's also this other stuff about Picard being an archaeologist. Maybe he took like a leave of absence or something and went on archaeological digs and things like that, and that's where he got that hobby from, because there's really nowhere he would have time to do that.
That would explain him not having taken a desk job and having the time to do this archaeological stuff. So yeah, he could have taken a leave of absence.
Yeah,
I always figured that was the case. He, you know, took a leave of absence, went and did some archaeologist stuff, took a sabbatical.
Yeah.
Was it 9 years? No, maybe not. Maybe he did some other stuff. But it was always an interesting gap in his career that just never was brought up.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny too because he spent, I mean, yes, 22 years as the captain of Stargazer, but he was on the crew before that too as something other than the captain.
Mm-hmm.
He as I recall, he was not just, you know, because the Stargazer was one of those smaller ships where the first officer also had to have the first officership was like a collateral duty, kind of like how Spock was the science officer and the executive officer at the same time. It wasn't a separate post for exec. So, and what they said was that he was their primary helmsman and the first officer as well. And I thought that was interesting. There were one of the bridge designs for the Constellation class literally had the helm right next to the captain's chair, like side by side.
Yeah,
and that makes sense if that was the configuration, you know, for that he had for at least the Stargazer initially. Now, later on we saw earlier on we saw the Stargazer bridge, and it wasn't designed that way. But that's not to say that, you know, while he was first officer, the bridge could have been designed this other way, where the helm was sitting right next to, you know, the captain's chair. And then when he got in, he modified the bridge to be a more conventional design with the captain's chair in the center. But yeah, he it says he was assigned to as a helmsman aboard USS Stargazer, and apparently that's the position he had even as executive until he took command of the ship when his captain was killed during a battle. So
he served on the Reliant first.
Uh-huh.
I was just curious to see if it's going to specify when he got on the Stargazer.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that there was another Reliant.
Yeah.
After the other situation, but yeah, it's like, you know, I've always had this feeling that there should never have been a starship called Voyager after the V'ger probe thing. You know, oh, you're going to name a ship after a space probe that turned evil and killed a lot of people.
True.
You know,
all it says
like,
is,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, all it says here is he was assigned as a helmsman aboard the Stargazer. Doesn't give a date.
Yeah.
And says it was 2233 when he took over as captain.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, but Q's dialogue in Tapestry says that he assumed command of the Stargazer when the captain was either critically injured or killed on the bridge.
Right.
And so, I mean, apparently he just remained there, you know, for the rest of his time there. But it would be interesting to see what a younger Picard would have done, you know, on a clunker of a ship like the Stargazer. But again, it's one of those things where you'd be better in a flashback sequence, not, you know, giving it to us in smaller chunks rather than have a whole series about it.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, naming, you know, to me, naming a spaceship or a starship Voyager would be like naming a. I'm trying to think of some ship that is synonymous with disaster. Obviously, Titanic was one. Challenger, probably not the best idea. I mean, Thresher, you know, there's a submarine called the Thresher that went down. No, for example, the U.S. Navy will never name another submarine or ship either Thresher or Scorpion because those were high-profile submarine disasters. I was going to say Hindenburg, and I was also going to say Bismarck, but the problem with Bismarck is we already have a USS Yamato in Star Trek, or did, and if they're going to have a Yamato, they might as well have a Bismarck in there. Yeah, I remember friend of mine's grandfather was watching Star Trek with us, and when they introduced the USS Yamato, he had to leave the room because he was a World War II vet who had friends who were killed by by the Imperial Japanese battle cruiser Yamato.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not like the idea that you had a ship called Yamato, and you try to rationalize and say, well, maybe in between World War II and Star the Star Trek universe, there was another Yamato, and that's what this one is named after. But of course, it's you try that with Bismarck and see how well that flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow I don't think that's gonna fly.
No.
All right, ACAP, my time's up, buddy. I'm on head out. Thanks for having me on.
Mm-hmm.
Darren, have a good one. Mar, have a good one.
See you at NB. And still no German on the Enterprise. I've noticed this when I look at the cast for Strange New World. Not a single German on the bridge.
Well, how dare them?
Well, it's just interesting. The only time you find a German on Star Trek is when they go back in time and fight the Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, Germany's and I know I have a German in the or I think Mars German, either that or Austrian. Germany right now is still an economic, marvel, and for them not to include them, especially in today's day and age, is interesting. I mean, maybe Una is, I don't know, has a German last name. I don't know, but if she does, it's kind of muddled because her first name sounds almost Hispanic. Nope, her name is Una Chin Riley. Interesting. They made her part Irish. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the English people have some strange things in their language, like, for example, a cat as pulled. What's that supposed to be?
No Belgians in Star Trek either. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Even if they just put an Austrian in on Star Trek, that would be, I suppose close enough. But they won't even do that.
Nope. I wonder why. But yeah.
I mean, goodness. I'm modifying my computer today with Noctua parts. They're all designed in Austria, and the Austrians make good stuff. I mean, come on.
Well, let's be honest. They also have black people on the Star Trek shows, but none of them is really from Nigeria. They are all American.
Well, Mabenga is going to be on the new one, and Uhura is also from actual Africa. I mean, she was her native language was Swahili, not English. They established that in the original series.
Yes.
So she wasn't an African American. She was an African. And Mabenga, Dr. Mabenga, and I still think this is a mistake to have not Mabenga as the CMO when he's going to have to step down and become like subordinate to McCoy later. That seems kind of strange to me, almost like he's moving backwards in his career rather than forwards. But do they even have background information for him? I don't think they do. But just his last name, I mean, he doesn't have a slave name, for lack of a better term. He has an actual authentic, sounding African name. And that would suggest to me that he's also direct African. So we have actually on Strange New Worlds Enterprise, we have two 2 continental Africans on the crew. We've got one Hispanic, Lieutenant Erica Ortegas, who looks like a boy, in my opinion. She looks like Vasquez 2.0. And then we have an Asian woman playing Khan's ancestor. So
that's just, I'm sorry, Khan's ancestor. That's just insultingly stupid.
Well, I would think it would be better if they did, if she was the ancestor of an augment, just not Khan. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that idea isn't bad. I mean, having somebody that whose family lineage dates back to the augments, you know, interesting.
Well,
but having it be Khan's ancestor just really is hard to swallow. It's like there were more augments than just Khan. Khan had, even just in Space Seed alone. Yeah,
it doesn't work because all the augments had to fled Earth.
Not necessarily. He might have knocked up an ordinary woman and she was pregnant, and after he left Earth,
I don't think so. I don't think so because well, they was pretty, let's say, racist.
Mm-hmm.
And he would never have gone to bed with an ordinary woman.
He wanted to in Space Seed. McGivers, the Enterprise's historian, he seduced her, and then she went to live with him down on the planet, and that was the beloved wife that he talked about that died.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was perfectly fine with non-augment women if they were, you know, if they were up to his standards, you know, and. You know, I got to remember with Khan, he was a dominating.
A different thing. I think that he just tried to get her attention so he could easily take over the Enterprise.
Right.
Because she knew more about the modern times, and he needed those informations.
Right.
And having someone who knows history like she did just was a bonus, because she would know more about the history up to the point where they are now than everyone else on the crew.
Okay, so if we look at information regarding Space Seed, let's see what happened here. We've got Lieutenant Marla McGivers. And at the end of the episode, all right, it says, at the time that Khan's party settled on the planet, it was perfectly fit for human habitation. Okay, so unfortunately, McGivers was uncomfortable with Khan's murderous plans. She turned against him for long enough to prevent Captain Kirk's death and to help retake the ship. But it was too late to save her career. When Kirk sent Khan and his followers to SETI Alpha 5, McGivers was given a choice between facing court-martial or accompanying Khan. She chose to go with Khan, and he called her a superior woman. At the time that Khan's party settled on SETI Alpha 5, it was perfectly fit for human habitation. However, a mere 6 months after their arrival on the neighboring planet, SETI Alpha 6 exploded, causing an ecological disaster on SETI Alpha 5, which left the planet a barren wasteland. Khan's followers struggled to survive, but Marla did not survive to be freed from the planet. So, you know, he regarded her highly, calling her a superior woman. So I mean, and you know, Khan does make reference to his wife having been killed by one of the little creatures. It's not expressly stated whether that's McGivers, or McGivers, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
But the implication is, given that they were still making googly eyes at each other, you know, at the end of the episode, she was totally enamored with Khan because of his pedigree and the fact that he came from a different era. So, you know, in Khan's ego, he probably liked having a woman like that around who just fawned over him. So, you know, yeah. But, you know. So I think it's interesting to have the ancestor of an augment. I just don't think that it was a great idea to have it be Khan.
Yeah.
If it was, you know, one of the other augments that an unnamed one that was in his party on the Botany Bay, that would make more sense to me. It would be better, because then you have more unexplored territory in her family history to go through. But having it be Khan, really, unless they don't do anything with it, like, they say, okay, and then maybe she's one of many, illegitimate kids that he had while he was still ruling, 1/3 of Earth or 2/3 of Earth, whatever it was, then fine, But yeah, interesting idea. I just would have done it a little bit differently.
And obviously there were a lot more augments, because other than the 100 and whatever that were on that ship.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I mean, we've already had an augment on a crew before with Bashir. He wasn't a original augment. He was just, he wasn't fully augmented. He only had certain parts of his he only had certain things about him enhanced. So that's why he didn't go insane the way a lot of other ones did. But we have that middle ground, and I think that they're probably going to have her still have one or two things that are still better than human about her, but everything else will be normal, and that'll probably be why, the explanation for why she hasn't gone crazy and tried to become a despotic ruler or something, kind of like Bashir,
Michael 2.0.
Maybe an Asian version of Michael. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I just don't like Uhura being on the ship right now. Too. That's just dumb, because she was not seen in the cage, and we did see Sulu, I think. However, or Scotty, actually, we saw Scotty, I think, in the cage. We didn't see Sulu until the second pilot, but
yeah, I still like the German version of Star Trek better than everything we got so far since JJ Trek.
The German version differs in that it's all in German, or?
No.
Okay.
It differs in that the whole crew of the Traumschiff Surprise is gay.
Oh,
except
really?
of Uhura. You have a gay version of Spook, Captain Cork, and Schrotty.
Huh. Yeah, I remember when I was in university, we had a couple of, this was back in the early 90s, and we had a couple of Ukrainian foreign exchange students who we were in the student lounge, and the TV was running, and we had a classic episode of Star Trek on, and they were like, oh yes, they've heard of Star Trek. They the Soviet Union let them watch it, in a couple of years before the Soviet Union fell, and so they thought they were familiar with the show, and they started watching the show, and they went to commercial break, and they both turned to me and said, Captain Kirk, and I said, yeah, Captain Kirk, and he goes, Captain Kirk. I go, yeah, Captain Kirk. And they said, in Soviet Union, the captain's name is Chekhov. I thought that was funny.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The idea that Chekhov was the American who kept saying everything was an American invention.
Honestly, I wished I could find a complete Traumschiff Surprise or the complete movie with English subtitles so we can make a watch party for it. Because I think it's pretty well made. It's funny. And even William Shatner said about it that he likes the way they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not upset that Captain Kirk there is a gay person. And
Yikes. Well, it's funny because I was watching old Carol Burnett material, Carol Burnett from the 60s and 70s, and they did a skit, a Star Trek skit, where some nebula or field changed the entire cast of male characters into female characters, and it's funny, but it's from like 1969, and so they've been doing stuff like that as a joke for forever. The gender bending of Star Trek and all that.
Which, when it's done right, is not bad. It's just...
Yeah. Well, Carol Burnett was one of those funny female comedians, as opposed to, unfunny ones like Schumer and, Silverman. But, it wasn't just comedy for women. It was comedy for everybody, made by a woman. And so, if that skit had come out today, I think there would be a lot of people yelling woke, about it. I wouldn't yell woke about it unless they actually did that on the show and it wasn't a joke, there was a script that never made it to television on TNG. It was a Q script where the Enterprise was going to be hosting a diplomatic party that was, they were trying to negotiate with a planet that hated the Klingons. And so the Federation comes in to try to negotiate a peace treaty with the Klingons, since the Klingons can't really negotiate for peace, they just conquer. But they allow the Federation to attempt to. So it's an episode where in the beginning they established what's happening, and they said, Mr. Worf, you're going to be confined to quarters for the duration of this assignment, because if they see a Klingon on the ship, they're going to get upset. And he's like, okay, fine. And Q shows up and snaps his finger and transforms every single member of the Enterprise crew into Klingons. So everybody, the treat of the episode is that everybody, Deanna Troi, even Data, gets modified into a Klingon version of themselves. And the reason they didn't go for it was because, of course, that many Klingons in makeup would be really expensive. And apparently, but they did give the script over to DC Comics, and they made a comic book version of the story. But that was one of those episodes that I would have loved to have seen. To see what Picard is like all of a sudden in Klingon makeup, with all the genetic hostility of the Klingons in him, in addition to his own personality, and then having Worf have to offer essentially counseling sessions to everybody on how to deal with all the factors of Klingon biology.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting, but that was a story we never got.
And good morning, Darius. How are you today?
I've got to go here in about an hour to buy some double-sided adhesive tape. I'm trying to figure out if I can buy that at a grocery store, or if I have to go to an actual hardware store for that. I'm thinking I can probably get away with going to a grocery store and finding it.
Yeah.
But I need to. One of my fans for my computer is going to have to be taped into place because it doesn't have a fastening mechanism for where I need to put the fans. So a little bit ghetto, but it'll work. It won't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the problem, Yitza. There is only trailers, stuff like that with subtitles, but not the full movie.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix at the moment, and I've checked there if it would show with subtitles for English-speaking people here in Germany. But even there are no subtitles to be found.
It's really weird.
I am going to mute my mic so that I can go Jaloja. We'll be back.
Ow! We're not going to be going along for this, is it?
As a special gift to Captain Trek and the Morning Brew, yes. All right, I'll be back.
And on the picture I have running at the moment, from the right to the left, we have Captain Cork, Schrotty, and of course, Mr. Spook. Doing 0G train.
What's
Hey, Darius.
What's going on, Darius? Ah, you found one with subtitles embedded. Cool.
And Yitze, I think Khan would be scared of Bud Spencer.
Yeah.
I mean, ever seen how this man swings his hammer fists? But then again, I would like to see that. But Spencer and him standing next to each other, exchanging punches, and see who stands longer.
I'm sorry. That's just it's funny.
And of course, there we go. A little football scene, but Spencer beating a guy through the goal.
So, whose stream was he on yesterday? Oh, okay, on his own. I don't normally watch him. I don't think he'd have anything to do with me anyhow, so why bother? But so I wondered what happened as far as him getting blocked. did not ignore it. Other people chose to ignore it.
Yep, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill was great because Bud was the fat guy who actually won medals. He was a swimmer back in his days before he decided to stop training. And then he was this unbeatable guy in the Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movies, where he just let people hit him and then he punches them away like nothing. Yeah, exactly. He was an Olympic athlete. He won, I think, even gold medals while swimming. I'm not sure if it was gold, but he won medals.
Well, and I'll be honest, I can understand why Neurotic would get blocked. He wouldn't be just very critical. He bashed it. So, yeah, I can understand that. And I'm not saying he's wrong for bashing it, because it's shit. But you can tell I'm not important enough because I'm not blocked. So,
well, for Terence Hill, I'm not so sure. Well, see, back in those days, I was going to the gym myself because I wanted to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then I slowly started to figure out that that will never happen. And Bud Spencer became my new role model. Fat and strong works too.
okay, yes, it says Alex Jones will be on Friday Night Tights tomorrow. The only time I was on Friday Night Tights was to send a message about Bird. And I ended up messaging several of the mods in the chat, asking them to make sure that he saw the message I sent, a super chat. And they did. So yeah. Other than that, I don't go on Friday Night Tights. It's not my thing. I prefer going on Doomcocks, where it's got more of a variety show type thing. At least most of it. I don't like the parts where they have the people come in and do these shitty ass contests. Mainly because it's like, well, let's see here. If they had people like Bird or Andy Trekker or myself or several other people in the community, I can understand. But not some of the people they do. It's just kind of stupid. And so, of course, a lot of people will be watching Friday Night Tights because Alex Jones, I can't think of his name offhand or why he's important, or whatever.
Well, honestly, I've stopped watching it. It's just always the same. They start bitching about stuff and but without really giving any background to it.
Well, I do understand that they have different things going on when they have different guests. So Alex Jones being on would affect what goes on. If you have another big guest, then And yes, Dave, I was suggesting that I should be on Doomcock doing one of these contests. So yeah, I was being kind of an asshole there. And the problem is it always seems to be the same 4 or 5 people. You know, I understand Tom from Midnight's Edge. I can understand a couple of other people. A couple of the others, it's like, yeah, shut up and go away. You're an asshole.
Well, I tried to bring it to another point today, but
keep going. Let's bring it to another point. I'm tired of.
Didn't really work out the way I was planning on it.
Well, kind of didn't with me either. I was hoping to go on to other topics, but I had other people bringing it back to it. It's like, yeah, kind of was what it was. Oh well, we'll try again tomorrow.
Oh, I gave NB Geeks a scolding for it. He still didn't stop.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Bird will not be on today. And if he is, he'll probably be on his X channel. Time for medicine for me. This is a sinus pill. So it's like but so Bird won't be on unless he's on his X channel. I don't know what else is going on, but I do want to thank everyone who's been on the panel and everyone who's been in the chat. Thank you so much. And awesome. Kronos is making chili.
And I will see what we do backstage while we are offline.
And go ahead and come on the panel, Kronos. You'll be backstage.
Kronos, if you come backstage after the show, we will watch for sure Lower Decks.
Wait a minute, LDG is here. I don't know why, but he. Good morning, LDG.
Oh.
What's going on?
Why do I have an audio thing here?
I don't know, because you're having audio issues.
Where the hell is it coming from? Oh, here.
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah,
right,
I came back and forgot to unmute. All right.
What's going on, guys? Good morning. Hello, Captain Trek. Closing up early already? It's already 9:46. Are you feeling okay?
Kronos, not on the panel, just in the backstage.
Just in the backstage, not on the panel. And yeah, I am just kind of ready to call it a day for now. But again, I want to thank everybody who's been on the panel, everybody who's been in the chat. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Check out my Matrix video.